Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama, and Mrs. Laura Bush, accompanied by Joanne Hanley, Governor Rendell, Secretary Ken Salazar, and board staff.
Please be seated, everybody. Good morning, and what a good morning it is. How wonderful it is to be able to welcome Mrs. Obama and Mrs. Bush here today. Secretary Salazar, Governor Rendell, Gordy Felt, thank you for the privilege of being able to share this stage with you this morning. To our family members, the loved ones, and the friends of the passengers and crew of Flight 93, welcome, and comfort and peace be with you today. The distinguished guests that we have today are many. A warm welcome to Mrs. Joyce Murtha, the wife of our beloved late Congressman John Murtha. Judge Midge Rendell, the current First Lady of Pennsylvania. And Mrs. Michelle Ridge, the former First Lady of Pennsylvania. Former Secretary of the Interior Kemp Thorne and National Park Service Regional Director Dennis Reidenbach, welcome. Senator Rich Kasunik and our Somerset County Commissioners James Marker and John Vadavuk, and representatives from Senator Casey's and Congressman Schuster's office, welcome. Mr. Neil Mulholland, the President and CEO of the National Park Foundation, and Chris Sullivan, the Chairman of our Capital Campaign. And the architects of our beautiful memorial, Paul and Milena Murdoch, and landscape architect Warren Bird. And we also just want to recognize that there are many students here from Stony Creek Shanksville High School, and also German General Counsel Dr. Horst Freitag. Welcome today. But most important is all of you. Not only our partners, the Flight 93 Federal Advisory Commissioners, our newly formed Friends of Flight 93, but all of you who come, who show up, who support this memorial, not only today, but every day. We hope that our Flight 93 families are comforted somehow by you, their American family. Since last year's ceremony, there have been many changes and much progress, all with the help of our partners, our community, our friends, and our elected officials. It is because of you that we stand here today. Today is like a family reunion. We remember and we honor the past. We mourn the loss of lives. But we also seize this moment in time as we come together to commemorate. And we look to next year and the future with anticipation, with hope, with pride, and with humility, and most of all, with thanks. We recommit today to never forget. We are in the process of creating history and creating our heritage. How we respond as a nation and heal, and how we remain strong will be remembered for future generations. On this beautiful day, overlooking the final resting place of the 40 passengers and crew, we begin our ceremony with opening remarks from Secretary of the Interior Ken Salazar, who has been instrumental and pivotal in so many successes on this project. Secretary Salazar is a fifth-generation Coloradoan and was confirmed as the 50th Secretary of the United States Department of the Interior on January 20th, 2009, in a unanimous vote by the Senate. Prior to his confirmation, Secretary Salazar served as Colorado's 35th U.S. Senator. And as Secretary of the Interior, Salazar works to protect America's natural resources and heritage. He honors our cultures and tribal communities and supplies the energy to power our future. But he's also, more importantly, a caring and good friend to Flight 93, who has visited this site many, many times. Please welcome Secretary of the Interior, Ken Salazar.
Thank you, Joanne. It is my honor to welcome you all here to the 9th anniversary commemoration ceremony for the heroes of Flight 93. I especially want to welcome the First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama, and our First Lady, Laura Bush, and my former colleague and former Secretary of the Interior, Dirk Kempthorne, for his work on this project. When President Obama appointed me to serve as Secretary of the Interior, he asked that I serve as a custodian of America's natural resources and heritage. Today, on these hallowed grounds, we serve that custodial role for a key chapter of America's history. This is my fourth visit to this Flight 93 memorial site since becoming Secretary of the Interior. I've had the honor of working with the family and friends of the heroes of Flight 93. I also have had the honor of working with the landowners and the community of Shanksville, whose lives, like the rest of the nation's, were irrevocably changed on that day, now 9 years ago. The location for this year's anniversary service is especially significant as we return to the Western Overlook, where in many ways the journey began 9 years ago. This is where the Pennsylvania State Police lined the ridge on horseback to salute the families as they were first brought to view the crash site. This is where the FBI, the NTSB, the ATF, and other agencies carried out their duties. Many of those who served the investigation and recovery efforts are with us in the audience today, and for the first responders, let's give them all a round of applause. This is also the place where the media gave the nation and the world their first glimpse of the crash site. And this is also the place where a community and nation came together. The Red Cross and Salvation Army and Good Samaritans demonstrated great compassion and care here. And the local residents of this community and this county opened their homes and their hearts to the families and to this nation. In the days following September 11th, a small memorial of hay bales was placed at the overlook where family members could leave flowers and tributes to their loved ones. As the investigation and recovery ended, staff added to the memorial as a way to pay their respects. In many ways today, we are still adding to that simple hay bale memorial, and the nation and the world have joined the salute. You will hear from distinguished speakers today, but I want to impart with you the confidence that the Department of the Interior, in our capacity as the stewards of national parks and historic sites for our great nation, is fully committed to building a memorial to rightly commemorate these heroes. Because of the work of Neil Mulholland and the National Parks Foundation and their board, we are on the way with the friends of the family of Flight 93 and so many others to be able to dedicate Flight 93 in the 10th year anniversary of 9/11. It is my hope that when our children and our grandchildren visit this memorial, and when our thoughts go to this particular place, this solemn place for our country, that they too will understand the selfless act of the heroes of 9/11, that they too will walk the hallowed grounds and feel the power and the resilience of the American spirit. While the next generation will not personally remember where they were that fateful morning, they will know that our nation, like the 40 men and women on Flight 93, responded to those acts of terrorism with courage, actions intended to divide the nation, instead rekindled a sense of unity, a sense of strength, and a sense of resolve. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this solemn anniversary and for the opportunity to help build this memorial on behalf of a grateful nation.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Reverend Robert Way from the Good Shepherd Cooperative Lutheran Ministries in Somerset County will lead us in the invocation as we give thanks and ask for blessings.
But I ask you to gather your hearts and your minds as we gather together in prayer. You who alone are holy, you who are the one true God, with love, compassion, and healing, look on us, people of many faiths and traditions, who gather here this morning in memoriam. We ask you in your goodness to be with us as we come together. We are a broken people. We tend to separate ourselves daily by race, class, creed, and politics. But we gather now with a unified purpose and goal. We are one people in this attempt to honor those who died in acts of heroism. First responders, firefighters, emergency workers, police officers, and especially those who fought hand to hand against the terrorists in the very skies above this precious tract of land. We ask you in your compassion to bring healing to those who still deeply grieve the loss of loved ones. Give them strength to continue their lives with courage and hope. We remember as well not only our 40 heroes, but also those who suffered death, injury, and loss on that day. We give tribute to those who now fight on behalf of our country in foreign lands as we reflect on the losses they and their families incur. God of peace, bring your peace to our violent world. Reform with love those whose hearts and minds are consumed with revenge. Inform those who seek only to cause discord and strife. Grant that we may all